Alright, subscriber request to do a recreation of the Korean War 1950. The Korean War was a war between North Korea and South Korea, and the war began on the 25th of June 1950 when North Korea invaded South Korea following clashes along the border and also in the South. The war ended unofficially on the 27th of July 1953, and so it supposedly is still going on today, but trying to do a recreation, did a lot of research to try to figure out, okay, what tanks were used. And I want to thank my subscribers because they actually help provide me with these lists of tanks, and I do some cross-checking myself. So we try not using any attachments, any camos. We try using the actual cannons that were used. So like the ISU-152 with the stock cannon and the M46 Patton with the stock turret and so forth. Now, I had to be the poor and unfortunate Su-76 Tier 3. I would have been the Ha-Go, but being that nobody had the Su-76 being a collector tank, it was actually a tank that used to be in the game in the tech tree, but then it was removed. Didn't really know if anyone had it, so I decided to be the Tier 3. I typically am the one, when I do these recreations or challenges, I always try to be on the disadvantaged side, just to make it more fun for my subscribers, and just so that nobody has to really suffer the way that I kind of did. So completely loaded up on APCR as needed, and in this situation, I'm trying to get any shots off that I can, use the terrain as much as possible. I don't have great gun depression. I do have some maneuverability. I have absolutely no armor, and I'm trying to be really careful. I get absolutely wasted here. Of course, the M46 Patton is going to completely dominate. So really, how we have this situated in terms of balance, we have on the American side the EZ-8, the Centurion, which was a very influential, just powerful battle tank during that time period. From what I understand, the Pershing, the Chaffee, which was actually an important tank, one of the first ones in this Korean War, and had the 75mm cannon attached to it, and actually had some problems when encountering or battling in this war. When coming across these T-34-85s, they actually had a hard time penetrating that armor. Well, the M46 and such were obviously able to supplement that, and were able to provide much greater support in this war. And so the Chaffee, also with the 75mm cannon in this game. So yeah, honestly, a lot of fun. Love doing these historical recreations. I haven't done one of these in a while. Definitely wanted to do one of them. So we had just the first round, going here into the second round. I'm not the Centurion on the left. That's actually my subscriber. Going off of the sounds pretty much from his game, because his game was a bit more exciting than mine. I'm having to be a little bit too cautious. But thank you so much to the subscribers. If you guys want to help out with these vids, I know I say this in all my vids, join the Discord and make sure you get the role as movie crew. That way, when I'm doing these videos, you can be notified right when I'm got a training room together, and you can join. Now, I am on the North American server, which is unfortunate, I know, for a lot of some of the people watching on other servers. And I don't have an account, unfortunately, on the other servers. So yeah, please join. Love the subscriber help. Keep the requests coming. If you haven't seen a request that maybe you've submitted before, it hasn't been done yet, it could be because I've got a good, like, pretty decent list I'm trying to make my way through, but please keep them coming. You guys have awesome ideas. It's really the subscribers that make this channel awesome. So I'm clearly struggling here to get myself in position and loaded up with my APCR, totally ready to get in the action here. And all I'm just hoping and praying for is I get one shot. Just one shot on the enemy. Now, it was kind of funny because I knew, and this had felt rough, but I want to give a shout out to the player that chose and was willing to be the tier 1 Hago, which was a tank used in the Korean War, so I had to use it. But like, gotta give that guy a shout out, because that was even a worse experience than the one I had trying to play the SU-76. But he put up a great fight. He really did what he could. You even saw him in the first round trying to circle the M46 Patton. So great job for him. Now, the maps that I chose, I tried to choose some sort of continental Asian theme to kind of fit that Korean. So maps obviously like Lost Temple or something. So the Americans were able to win that round. Now we're going to go into one last one and primarily go off of the Centurion view over here on the left, using his sound and audio. You get two of the audios used together. It could just end up clashing, be a little messy. Now, technically what we're doing here is on the American side, there's only 5 tanks. And on the Korean side, there's actually 9 tanks. The reason why that's the case is I was trying to balance it out, because on the Korean side, you have the tier 1 Hago. Okay, that's not really gonna do a whole lot compared to some of these other tanks. I can't imagine any of the tankers in the Korean War driving a Hago and coming across some of these other ones like the Centurion and not being able to do a whole lot. But it's so funny because I sometimes have subscribers that'll say, like, I can't do anything, I can't, there's nothing, I'm useless. And that's probably how historically some of these other tankers felt, is not being able to pen. They were having a hard time, but this was the situation. I know this is a video game, it's not exactly 100% accurate. And then on the Korean side, as I had mentioned, there were 9 tanks. But yeah, the Hago, you had me in a tier 3. And really, I mean, the bulk of what the Koreans were made up of were, in comparison to the game, were a bunch of like 1, tier 3, tier 5s, tier 6. We had 1 tier 8, the ISU 152. Whereas on the American side, tier 9 with the M46 Patton, the Centurion, the tier 8, some tier 6. So I had to do some balancing here to try and kind of like just try and make it fair. And well, it doesn't look like thing. Honestly, with this game that we were playing, the view range abilities of the Centurion, the Pershing, the M46 Patton just absolutely annihilated a lot of these tanks on the Korean side that we just did not have very, very well played on the American side, because that was one of their biggest strengths given the makeup of their team. And it was very smart for them to go out on the flank where their hills were. They've got tanks with good gun depression. They're really utilizing that, and it really was putting us in a bad position because a lot of the times we couldn't see where they were firing. We couldn't even see their tanks. And now they're completely closing in here, just finishing up the last battle. So honestly, hope you guys enjoyed this historical recreation. You guys are awesome. You guys stay cool and keep taking it.